And we're live. Nobody's there yet. Been live for like 2 seconds. Well, those of you watching it live, well, you know where you're seeing it. If you're watching this someplace other than on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, you should be on my YouTube channel. You should go there. Freak Phil 1309, the FREAKPHIL, and the number's 1309, and subscribe. Now, if you had done that, you would have been able to be here when I was live. But no, some of you seeing this on Facebook or somewhere else, starting to get people in the broadcast there. See, because those people, they must be subscribers. They're sitting around on YouTube doing something. They got some sort of notification. I don't know how these things happen, but you never know when I'm going to do this kind of thing. It's Saturday. Hello, Shane. How are you? Saturday. I don't know. Have I done this on a Saturday? Maybe I have. I don't know. But I had a little bit of time. It's time for me to just chill on the veranda for a few. And, well, when I'm chilling, I'm doing pretty much anything else. Hi, all you people that keep saying hi. Well, I like to talk about witchcraft. That's what I do. I guess I'm obsessed, you know, after all this time. Maybe I'm obsessed with witchcraft or something. Hello, Denise. So I've been doing this thing. I've done it on my Facebook, my Birch Tree, my Uncle Birch Facebook page. I think I've done this on my personal Facebook page a couple times, and if my count is right, wait a minute. Somebody's already asking me questions. Security camera thing I didn't see. It looks like it's like a long question, and I only saw the second half. But any rate, I was talking about something. I talk about witchcraft all the time. Teach witchcraft all the time. And in my spare time, I'm talking witchcraft. And sometimes I'll be driving down the street. I'll do one of these live videos. But I've been doing this Ask Uncle Birch. I think this is number 4. It better be, because I called it number 4. People that, subscribers and see the live broadcast, they come in, hopefully with questions about witchcraft and magic. Witchcraft and or magic. There was somebody... security system something seemed to be asking me a question, but I did not see the question. So you'll find, if you haven't been here before, that I have way too much to say about everything that I'm going to talk about. So I will be long-winded. That's why I teach witchcraft now. I've got a couple classes coming up through my Gumroad. I'm doing a year and a day long class called Witch School Level 1. I have my older classes available for download. You can watch those anytime. And I'm working on live a conference call kind of classes and workshops coming up in the new year here. And those, I don't think those are going to go through Gumroad, but if you go to gumroad.com/witchschool, WITCHSKEWL, you'll see some of my other works. What's a good daily practice to do? I don't really know your path. I can tell you some of mine. Over the years, I have a solar salute and a lunar salute. It's boiled down to something very simple, to the rising sun or the setting sun and the noontime sun. Right hand, just a salute. Left hand for the moon. People, when I'm in rituals, and people call the god and the goddess, hold on. When people invoke the god and the goddess, I'll often do that. The sun is the god, the moon is the goddess. That'd be my little salute. No, there's like a full moon or something like that. It's probably going to be a little more complicated. Looking at the moon through the triangle, and I've learned this thing. You hold the triangle up and get the moon right here, kind of resting right above the crease in your thumbs right there. And it's an angle thing. You're angling your head down, but you're looking up. until the blur of your vision causes 3 beams of light to hit you right here. That's when you've got the right position. You hold that as long as you can. Your hands will start to glow. You'll see auras and shit. It's very cool. But then, so it's up to the moon, down to the third eye, over the heart, flop over around the heart chakra, and open. Probably picked that up from Raven Gramassi's work. That's not a personal thing of mine, but it is one of my daily practices that I always do. Uh-oh. My wife's texting me that we forgot to put some of the ornaments in the ornament bag. I'll have to get to that later. So, saw somebody in there talking about CX Wicca, but before, as far as daily rituals and that kind of thing, also, protection. You gotta have protection stuff. Gotta have some shields up before you go to sleep. There are more things under heaven and earth that are dreamt of in your philosophy, Horatio. And then there's other witches, and there's other workers out there. And the more you're out there in the interwebs of magical communities, the more you're susceptible to somebody throwing on you for some fucking thing. It happens. If you piss somebody off on Facebook, they might hex you. So protection, nightly rituals, protection. Always have protection up before you go to sleep. I saw somebody's asking something about CX Wicca, but I didn't see that. So if you want to try your question again. If I'm answering somebody's question, I probably won't see your question. So if you all can, time it, we'll figure that out. Let's see. Got a lot of people here. I started using a little earphone microphone. Hopefully I sound okay. There's so much background audio up here where I like to hang out. I want you to be able to hear me. So, okay, so if you just joined us, we're doing Ask Uncle Birch. All kinds of random things. Somebody was asking, Raymond Buckland and CX Wicca. Somebody was asking me about spell work, doing spell work for people. Probably the best way to do that is contact me at witchschool@gmail.com, WITCHSKEWL @gmail.com. I don't have, workings for clients on my website as a product. I wouldn't know really how to do that. Every situation's unique. But that's probably the best way to contact me. I have a couple other email addresses, and my shop email address is still a Hotmail address, so it's the one that goes through YouTube as well. It's a Hotmail address. Actually, I think YouTube is a Gmail address, so it's a little less cluttery, but my Hotmail address is a fucking nightmare, and I'll probably have to discontinue it at some point. Somebody asked about Buckland and CX Wicca. Yeah, I read the book, when it came out. There was CX Wicca, and I think he did a Scottish Wicca too. Yeah, a couple smaller paperback books. Good things and bad things to say about all of the grand old men of witchcraft, and everybody has, grand, dramatic, horrific tales to tell about all of them. And Buckland had a few towards the end, but I and others owe Buckland a great deal. Buckland made certain parts of the Gardnerian craft publicly accessible in ways that nobody else had, and his version of the Gardnerian craft, Bucklandiism, I don't know what the hell you'd call it, but the Big Blue, the Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. I don't know if there's any complete book of witchcraft anywhere out there, but damn if he didn't come close. There's fucking everything in there. You got all your main rituals that would come up in Wicca, and most of the crafts on the coming down the pike. If you wanted to, make your athame, you wanted to forge your athame, well, he'll show you how. You want to make your ritual robe, he'll show you how. I think he has a thing for building an altar. I don't even know. But, you want to make all your shit, make your wand. Buckland's got it in his book, man. Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. It's one of the books that's always been available through my my shop, because I love it. You want to make your own ritual wine? You want to make mead. Back when I used to make mead, the recipe that I made mead from was Buckland's, and it was great. You know, it's just fucking honey and water, and you know, some yeast and some fermenting and shit. But oh god, it was good. And then I started getting creative, adding blueberries, doing other things. But it was Buckland's recipe that I followed in Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft. Great book. But the Seax Wicca, I read it. I don't know what I retained from it specifically, except that, you know, at the time it's like, oh, hey, here's a tradition of magic I don't know, and I love that. For those of you that don't know, I've been studying witchcraft a very long time, and it motivates me more than any other thing. It's a passion, an obsession. Every type of magic that I come across, I want to know it. I want to, you know, and if I know it and I like it, I want to use it, put it in my bag of tricks. I always try and give respect and do respect to the cultures that they came from. But if I see it, I want it. I want it in my bag of tricks. I want to know how to turn that into witchcraft. When my wife was studying Chinese medicine and acupuncture, I looked at what she was studying, and that's fucking witchcraft, man. Fucking witchcraft. And I'm still trying to figure out, you know, how I can stick the pins on a doll using the acupuncture points to affect change. Sherry, yes, I know you. You signed up for the Year in a Day Witchcraft course. People are already signing up for the Year in a Day Witchcraft course. It's scheduled to automatically charge people. They set up an account at Gumroad, so I don't have to deal with that. The one part of teaching correspondence courses that I didn't like, collecting money and reminding people to pay me. I hated that shit, and so I found a way to keep doing that kind of course without having to do the one part that I just dreaded. So it's set for 12 months. People are already signing up and paying for me. So when we get to the end of the course, I might have to figure out something for those people or give them a special code. I don't know. It's the first time doing it through here, but we're gonna. One way or another, if you signed up for the course, you're going to get the course. You're going to be in there with Uncle Birch. And again, those of you that don't know, it's over there at Gumroad, gumroad.com/witchschool, WITCHSKEWL. You can email me at witchschool@gmail.com to get in there. But it's already there at Gumroad. And that's where you have to go to set up your account anyway. So I have some people, clients from Gumroad, that are just signing up through there. So I had a couple thing. There's a law of attraction in witchcraft. There's somebody said that, and then there was somebody else with an uncrossing thing. I'm going to try and have you post your question again in a second. But the law of attraction. The law of attraction. It's rather simple. The things that you send out are the things that come back, and the things that we hold on. Don't ask me another question right now, person. You're gonna mess me up. Ask me that in a minute. I'm answering one. The things that we send out in witchcraft are also the things that we allow our minds to dwell on. These are energies that we use in witchcraft. These are the things that we use to make spells. This is how we, we'll meditate and visualize and focus on a thing, get the proper amount of energy. Mind Control 101, man. Go watch my Mind Control videos 101. You got to take control of this shit, because this shit's going to do magic anyways, and if you don't take control of this shit, it's going to be doing magic to fuck you up. And so the stuff you worry about and you let yourself be consumed about, those are energies going out in the universe, and you need to do something to those energies before they go out. Can you see? I don't know. The reason I'm sporting the Romani jacket, I think you got to see the back of it to see the tag. The reason for the Prada shoes. Well, first of all, I had a relative before I moved to Hollywood that would only send me really expensive designer clothes from Italian designers. It turned out it was in respect of the portion of my heritage that she knew about. And they sat in my closet for a while. I was not not a fancy man that way. And then I kind of recognize this is money. This is money. It represents money. The places where you'll see this is money. So I put on the Armani. I put on the Prada. But I'm going to be doing Money Magic video for Gumroad soon. I'm gonna deck myself out. I'm gonna come in the Armani suit and shit. Do that one. These kinds of things. This what you wear attracts. You know, the money in your pocket attracts. Mine's in the left pocket because the left is the receptive side. That I just said to you is apparently such a huge lost thing in all of witchcraft that every time that I say this shit, people get all up in arms about it. But the right hand was the active, the projective hand, and the left hand was a receptive hand. The right hand was associated with God, and the left hand was associated with the goddess. And then all things. A projective tool would be held in the right hand. A receptive tool would be held in the left hand. And on and on and on and on. These concepts repeat. When we learn a thing in witchcraft, it's a repetitive, symbolic representation that we'll see represented in lots of other places than we originally learned it. But to not take too long on the law of attraction, a thing that I've learned, and it's the hardest thing for most people to grasp, when I have the most money is when I throw my money around. When me and the family go out, we eat and we drink and we be merry and we tip well. It flows. It flows. When I sit on it, when I'm trying to save it, when I scrimp, it doesn't flow so much. I don't know. I don't know how many people have found that, but I've seen that. It's like really hard to save for a rainy day that way. The more it goes out, the more it comes back. And I get more than I sent out that comes back. I don't know if that's the threefold law or what that is, but it's somehow the law of attraction. What you send out, stuff comes back. Resounds off the planet, comes back. I don't know if it amplifies threefold like some people say, but this I have found in my research, and I'm continuing to, research it more. But so that was that question. Now there was somebody, before anybody else jumps in there, somebody had an uncrossing problem with their 23-year-old son. I saw that. Wasn't able to decipher the whole question, but if that person, you have a son that has been crossed, cursed, hexed, that kind of thing. Sherry, who's in the class, okay, from Mexico. Okay, what up, Sherry? Tell me again, 'cause I barely saw it, and if I don't read it all, it kind of fades off the screen. Yes, Sherry Young. Thank you, Denise. Oh, I guess you can all see the chats. I see them for a very brief time. Okay, Sherry's typing, hopefully, telling me about this thing. A thing that unfortunately comes up way too often in my work, and it has become one of my specialties. I do a lot of uncrossing work for a lot of people, and I teach people to do their own uncrossing work. Tends to be the videos that get the most hits, so it must mean that some people out there need it. But a lot more people coming over there. See, oh my goodness. I had a car accident, roll over, close to death. Well, shit. Without charging anything at this point, Sherry, can you send me the details? Witchschool.com. I want the son's name, birth date, location. Where is he? A picture. You probably have a picture. I'm sure you have a picture of your son. Just send me those things. I will. There's things that I will do without charging. A full uncrossing thing I have to charge. It's a lot of work. But I have some stuff going on, and I'll definitely burn some things on my altar in his name, especially so he's close to death. So yeah, I ain't just saying thoughts and prayers, man. I'm saying juju and woo-woo. I got some juju and some woo-woo for you. And you already signed up for my class, so that makes you one of my students. So, you know, if I can help for without cost, I will. But, you know, all right, send me the details. Which school? Oh, you know the address because you went there already. But witchskewl@gmail.com. Several people saying hi, Birch. Hello. I can't really see. There's a plant in the way. Oh yeah, a decent amount of people in there. So we're doing this random thing that I do sometimes. Ask Uncle Birch, and so far I've yet to be stumped. I have too much to say about everything witchcraft. Hello, Nikki D1919. So lots of people in there. So we've been answering questions. There's people saying hi to each other, I think, here. There's Nightcat saying hi to Marty. It's all right. So we've got a social network going on in the chat room for the live video. And that's totally cool. I love that. So you got a question, you got something you want to ask, you know, witchcraft, magic related. Do I know anything? Do I do anything? Well, I think I do something for special things in the new year to Orion. So, okay, so let's look at it this way. The winter solstice in northern cultures around the planet, and probably the southern cultures see the exact opposite. I don't know how that works. I can't wrap my head around that. But in northern climates, the sun god goes down to his lowest level at the winter solstice, and does not appear again on the horizon for 3 days, which tends to be Xmas, Christmas. I use that as an excuse to celebrate both. And, you know, if we don't let our kids have Christmas, they'll never want to grow up and be pagan. You know, we can't. Don't let them trick or treat and shit like that. No. Don't be a fanatic. So I see the winter solstice is the death of God, and 3 days later it's the birth of God. I can wrap my head around that. There's no other place in the pagan pantheons or Celtic streams, or the old rituals, where I see a god die and not be immediately replaced by another god form. You know, the Oak King battles with the Holly King. The winter takes over immediately. John Barleycorn hacked down several times. Every time John Barleycorn immediately springs up until it's the final time that he's hacked down, and then a harvest god appears on the scene. Except for the winter solstice. I can see how the ancients believed that God was dead for 3 years. So think about that. Christmas, a couple days ago, is the birth time of God. It is planting time for long-term projects that you want to manifest through the year. You know, we witches, we tend to work in lunar cycles most often. We want things to manifest in a month or 3 months, or, you know, series of lunar cycles. But then larger things, there's the sun. So now is magical planting time for big things that take a year to manifest. You're planting things now for the harvest, summer, fall. Get busy. Think ahead. There's things you're always going to want. Think of what those things are and be doing magics for those things there. So a couple other people asking a question while I was answering the question. I can't do that. I'll get distracted. I try not to look. Have I read Damien Eccles' new book, High Magic? You know, no, Nikki. He had his book signing like a stone's throw from here at Amoeba Records. And I got a notification. I was going to go, and I was going to check out his book and get it signed and all that. But 5 p.m. on a Friday in downtown Hollywood. No, no. I probably could have walked there. I could have walked there, but I didn't want to. But I'm not. No. Traffic. No, the traffic, parking. Fuck that. I didn't go. And I see that Damien has signed with some major publishers, and I wish him that. He should, everything that guy's been through, he should at least get that. I heard, and I have not been able to confirm since that, but somebody did say that he signed a book deal with Balg, Become a Living God, and it seems like a step down from the New York Times bestseller list. I think he was on. So I don't know. I heard that, and I don't understand that. What do you think of the world? Paul Chang, Word, Magical Powers, Occult Difference. I do not know Paul Chang's work. There was a time when I was able to keep up with all of the books. I can only keep up with the major ones and the ones that have been major portions of my life. And I do sell books, so the big ones. But Paul Chang, I'm probing my memory banks, and I don't think I know anything about his work. I'll try and remember that and look them up now, because I always like to run across magics that I don't know. I am not threatened by that. I am a veteran. I've been around a long time. I'm not threatened by somebody knowing something that I don't know. I'm fascinated. I want to know that. It's one of the reasons I got into Palo in the first place. That is, what the fuck is this thing? I don't know what this is. I'm fascinated by this thing, and now I want to know the thing. Other people are threatened if they can't wax on and show you how much knowledge and wisdom they have. Yeah. Oh, Pao Chang, Paochang. I'm thinking, sounds Chinese, that's for sure. I do not know his work. I'll try and, maybe my wife does. I don't know. She's got a lot of Chinese study under her belt, but a lot of that stuff that she learned in Chinese medicine school, like Qigong, which is like Tai Chi on steroids, energy work, moving energy through points of the body. That's fucking witchcraft. That's fucking witchcraft, dude. Just that way. Anything that I see, I want to know how I can use that in witchcraft. I use a lot of my electronics knowledge in witchcraft, radio science. I use that in witchcraft. I see these principles as related, especially the radio thing. But I know there was other questions in there, and I did not see them, except for Pao Chang, and I don't know yet about him. Could be a her with Pao. I don't know. I thought it was Paul before. I don't know. But we're doing the Ask Uncle Birch. Got a pretty full house in there. Doesn't matter what time of day or night. I should probably do it in the middle of the night one of these times and see who gets on. Probably people from other countries and shit. It'd be more reasonable hours for them. I do this Ask Uncle Birch and I go live. I'm getting ready to do this kind of thing as a series of workshops and classes. Let's see. Is Hollywood named Hollywood because you use holly trees to make wands? Oh, well, some people use holly trees to make wands. I don't really know. I don't really know that holly grows that much around here. I haven't seen it. I don't know how Hollywood got its name. But yeah, some traditions, probably druids have occasions to use holly. But then, some are using hazel, some are using oak, some are using willow. So many ways to go. And if you go back to my channel, I think my first video was my wand, and I to this day don't know what wood my wand is made from. It's a very interesting story. You can go watch it, how my wand chose me and decided that it was the perfect wood for that. Palmistry. Well, Nikki, you're studying palmistry. I don't have any tips. There was like a couple books that I was able to find in my shop. And yeah, YouTube videos. I mean, I guess that's how I ended up doing this shit too. You know, how to zap some motherfucker and turn him into a toad. There's got to be a YouTube video for that. That's probably the best way. Palmistry is one of those lost arts. And here in this particular land, there's a very, let's say, a very organized subculture of the Romani, and they kind of own certain industries, and in some areas here, the psychic industry can be run very much like a mafia. And there's this there's a show, I think it's on Hulu, called Shut Eye, Shut Eye. I don't know, but it's about this psychic who moves to Hollywood and just opens a psychic shop, and I'm sure there's plenty of inaccuracies in the movie, but you find a lot about their culture and the organization of their culture and the beliefs of their culture, told in a very unflattering light. But in this series based on real things, they are a dominant force. They do have an entire section of the Graveyard of the Stars that is Romani in this town. So I don't even know what I was talking about there. Palmistry. Yeah, the palmistry would probably be more theirs than other people's. It's hard to say they own tarot, but probably the Romani of several cultures own that and have a claim to that. And I wouldn't want to open up shop to do that in this town and get some cement boots. No offense to the Hollywood Romani. Eyes Wide Shut. Thank you very much. I knew it was something like that. They had 2 seasons. The second season was really weird. I gotta watch it again just to wrap my head around what the fuck happened there. But fascinating stuff. And actually, in the show, they're in this graveyard, this Hollywood Forever graveyard, where my wife has family there. And you go and you see, many famous people's graveyards, and not too far from Johnny Ramone's statue, just over to the right a bit, is this whole section with tombstones you don't see anywhere else in the graveyard. And in this show, they're having a funeral in that section of the graveyard, which, and I saw it, and I go, huh, all right, I'm going to go look, and sure enough, those are Romani headstones, those are Romani names, a huge section that is the Romani part of the graveyard, and it ain't no cheap graveyard. Johnny Ramone's right over here, about 10 yards away. Mickey Rooney's 5 yards away. Yeah. So there's something to it, and I tread carefully when I'm in a new land. So I guess that was me talking about palmistry. So anybody else got a question? I don't want to, just only answer the questions that people that already asked questions, but which way is the best way to do magic on yourself? Magic on yourself. Well, again, you're going to go to this channel here, and you're going to look at Mind Control 101, which was a video I made after somebody in Santa Cruz that didn't like me and actually, wanted to have sex with me, and I didn't want to, which is why they didn't like me, but that's a whole other story. They accused me of mind control and running my covens like a cult, not occult. It was fascinating because my covens have absolute autonomy. I have a coven. I don't even know if they're still practicing because they don't owe me any explanation. But a coven of mine, initiated by me, running under me, that are run by biker Trump supporters. And they believe Hecate is Lucifer's consort. A ridiculous thing, but their entire coven are based on these principles. Somehow, with a veil of whatever I taught these people of my system, and I am totally opposed to their beliefs. I'm totally opposed to Hecate being a consort of Lucifer, or have anything to do with Lucifer. Lucifer's Roman, Hecate's Greek. Greek gods and goddesses have equivalents to Roman gods and goddesses, and vice versa. They do not cross pantheons. And Hecate has always been the badass goddess of witchcraft because she don't take any shit. She don't need a consort. She wants to get laid, she gets some fucking sex. She doesn't have to be married or a consort or anything of the kind. So that always fascinated me. I was like, my people have so much autonomy, I don't even fucking care what they're doing. And they get to wear the brand of Circle A. Yeah, a cult. Well, so I wrote this thing because my systems, what I had always been trying to teach people to do was control their own minds. And the entire premise of Mind Control 101 is control your mind or somebody else will. And they will use it against you. The TV alone will program yourself against yourself to sell your product. The media, society, everything's a program running to your detriment. You've got to take control of the programming language and program yourself. There are many things that I teach in that class. Unfortunately, I hear that the neuroprogrammer doesn't work anymore. Oh my God, it was the greatest tool for reprogramming your mind. It was like the Matrix. It was like, I know Kung Fu. Well, no, it wasn't that fast, but you could do that. You could reprogram something. Somebody's asking me a question while I'm talking. I can't see your question. You're going to have to wait again. A thing in that, there's an entire practice of sigil magic that runs just like the other sigil magic. You make a sigil that's you make your statement of intent. You turn your statement into symbols, which is the sigil. You do magic, energy work, stuff on the sigil. And you make that sigil be the last thing you see before you go to sleep. You put it on your pillow. You post it around your room. That's how they do sigil magic with sex magic. But the last thing you see. And then there's sex magic. Look at that sigil under extreme pleasure or extreme pain, whatever floats your boat, and it imprints to your subconscious. But that one thing, the looking at it, look at that sigil right before you go to sleep. Do this for a number of days, maybe, a couple weeks or a month. Destroy the sigil. Burn it. Don't do it anymore. Let it go. These things, that type of chaos magic is specifically to imprint a message on your subconscious to make your subconscious cause the change that's needed to change your life. And this can be entirely psychological or subconscious, and then sometimes it borders into the mystical. There have been people who have done this thing for that kind of thing for money, and then one day when they were going to go left, they randomly decided to go right and found $100 in the gutter. Shit like that's happened. Whereas like the decision that your subconscious made led to the manifestation of the mystical. So not just psychology. And psychology and mysticism are strange bedfellows. They run into each other all the time. So that's one way. But go watch my series on Mind Control 101. That'll change your life. And I tell you the story how it changed my life. Sure in the hell wouldn't be sitting here on the internet talking to people all the time if I didn't do that. Visualize, relax, let go, post it on the computer. Your words. I say relaxation, concentration. I would do this, for 13 years. I performed the full moon ritual for my groups in Santa Cruz because as the high priest, somebody had to do that, and the people that originally came up with that idea did not take personal responsibility for that. And it became my job. And I'd say, we would do the magic, whatever magic we were going to do, and I would talk the people into throwing that out there. And then I'd say to the people, and now, kids, what is the third key? And everybody would respond just like a cult. Forget about it. Yeah, forget about it. Let it go. Third key of magic. If you can't do that, you can't do magic. You got to take your mind off the thing you did. Go do something else. Go wash some fucking dishes. Go play fucking tiddlywinks. Go do something with your hands. Play with your kid and their Legos or something like that. Or as Uncle Birch said, and I said it way before it was legal, a post-ritual bong hit can do the job. You take the worst part about marijuana, short-term memory loss. Use that shit. What we want in spell work is short-term memory loss, man. We want to forget that shit. We don't want to forget it forever. We want to forget it for right now, for a couple weeks, maybe a month, man. Just fucking forget about it. Let it go. Fucking take a toke. Have a drink, do something, forget about it. So yeah, I guess you're what you said there would be another version of my words. Yes, it's pretty much what I say. Forget about it. Let it go. Let it go. So anybody, see, I saw there were other people asking questions while I was answering a question. It must be frustrating not being able to get your questions in, but that's the only way I could do it. So I could use sigils to discover what I want to do with my life for work. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sigil magic is totally working on the subconscious. A lot of the magic of sigil magic is magic of the mind. This up here doesn't speak words. It doesn't work in words. It works in symbols. That's why your dreams are just a bunch of damn symbols. That's why you see random symbols. That's why half of the symbols we're using in magic are there, because it's speaking to this part where the magic resides, where the magic comes from. That part of our mind speaks in symbols. Sigil magic is a way to turn words and complex statements into symbols. And then the symbol is then an embodiment of the sentence, the paragraph, or the book. And then through various methods, we're able to transmit that over to our magic mind. And yeah, sometimes it's, absolute mysticism, shit's coming down on a beam of light. And sometimes it's just magic arrives with a sense of irony at times. It takes very mundane mechanisms to get to you sometimes. It takes, A drops the money, the wind blows it sticks on the fence, and you happen to go to the right and you find it. It's a weird shit like that. Sometimes there's a person who walks into your life, brings that thing to you rather than a beam of light. Best way to activate sigils, whoever just asked that, fucking sex magic, man. Sex magic, masturbation, if you don't have a partner, whatever you got, it's a large amount of juju. The sexual fluids that come from those kind of things contain a large amount of juju. But the two main basics, intense pain and intense pleasure, are the two best ways to imprint something onto the subconscious. I know tales of spies back during the Cold War would be, shown something they needed to memorize, and then would be zapped with a cattle prod while they stared at the thing that they had to memorize. And the entire purpose was to imprint that thing onto the subconscious, to imprint that thing onto the mind, so it would never go away. So I don't know, are you a masochist? Yes. Well, there you go. You do that. Probably the best and most pleasurable way is, sex magic is. Sigil magic is best for sex magic. I knew somebody got a sigilized tramp stamp right here, and was very busy in the bedroom, and manifested a lot of great things off that sigil. I'm not suggesting that you go and tattoo sigils on you, but that was a very creative way to do it. I knew a stripper had a sigilized tramp stamp on her, lower spine, Same kind of thing, using energy from all those dudes in the strip bar fixated on her. It's just energy. It's just where attention goes, energy flows. So sexual energy is always a very powerful force. It moves mountains, forms and destroys nations historically, and relationships and people and everything else. All right, that's my answer on how to best charge sigils. Probably do a couple more. Got Papa stuff I got to do after I do my Uncle Birch stuff here. So if you have a question, let's see. Cavant has a question. All right, you put your hand up. I'm going to wait for Cavant. K-N-T. You know what I'm trying to say. That person with the K-A-Y something name has a question that they are now typing furiously and will pop up on the screen any minute now. Wow, it's a long question. People are LOLing. All right. Might be a long question, might be a long answer, who knows? What does it mean when you see someone in your dream you've never met, loved one or a friend? Wow. That's kind of a problem. Dream interpretation is best done by the dreamer. I do not believe in dream interpretation books. There are, if you're in one of my classes, you'll hear me say this again. The two main symbolic languages that we know of, the one comes from Carl Jung. And Carl Jung actually is the one that talks about the other one too. But first one is certain symbols subconsciously affect all human beings on the planet the same way. And Carl Jung was all about figuring out what those were and putting those out there. Now, those are the ones that dream interpretation books will hit on, one time out of 5. And so you'll think it's right. You'll think they interpreted your dream right. The other set, the personal symbol set that one of my main things that in my teaching that's not in anybody's teaching. Well, I have a lot of stuff that's not in anybody's teaching, but a big thing that I teach nobody else teaches. We learn early on in my course, we attempt, and some people get really good at it, to learn that language. There's a personal subconscious language of symbols that only you will ever figure out. And I have techniques that I think help us do that. And part of the magic I'm getting to is that this is our dream mind is linked to our witch mind, linked to our higher self. There are parts of us that want to help us know all of this stuff and want to help us to find the mysteries of the universe, but we don't pay attention to them. We don't understand their language. There's a bunch of weird pictures happen in our minds and shit happens, and it's like a great example, studying psychology. You may see in your dream a home that you lived in. And now home normally would represent, security, safety, protection. That'd be the normal, the Jungian symbol of home. But that particular house that you see in your dream that you lived in has become a symbol of something that happened to you there. And most often, a trauma. A painful event. Our subconscious is imprinted with more of these than the pleasurable, the good things. And the older we get, the worse it is up there. The older we get, the more necessity there is to mind control 101, man. Mind control 101. We are often motivated by our negativity, our bad subconscious childhood memories. And we're still operating from those outside of our knowledge. So those symbols in your dream are going to mean something specific to you that somebody that didn't have that experience associated with those symbols they will not have that meaning associated to it. So hopefully you understand me telling you that I can't tell you anything long-winded, but this is something you're going to have to work on. Take my class. Over there at gumroad.com/witch school, WITCHSKAWL, or you can get a hold of me over at witchschool@gmail.com. We're getting ready to start February 1st, a year and a day course in witchcraft. Sorry, I was reading somebody on the screen. The witch school at Gmail is probably a better place to get a hold of me than my shop email address, which is just a fucking mess. And if you've emailed me there, I'm probably trying to get to that at some point. It's a mess. But yeah, so we're going to be learning how to do that. It's one of the first couple of classes we start getting into that, how that is achieved. And it is achievable, my belief in my practice, and I believe that because I have practiced it and I have seen it in my students' practicing it. The hope is in doing this kind of thing that we eventually can learn the language, the symbolic language of our subconscious. Instead of just receiving messages from it that we cannot interpret, we will be able to interpret those messages, but better than that, send messages to it. Just like we're doing in the sigil magic. If we can speak to that portion of our mind, send memos across the void, it can cause this change that we need to happen in our life. Magically, psychologically, who knows where the chicken ends and the egg begins. All right, I'm gonna say maybe one, maybe two, depending on the question. Somebody, you got a question? Get in there. Put your hand up like that last person, then I wait for you. Say, I have a question, and then I'll call on you. But we're getting to the end of Ask Uncle Birch, part 4, I believe. Randomly on a Saturday. And all these other things you can learn over here at my Gumroad class too. You can tune into my podcast Tuesday nights, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here in California at /Widdershins. Or you can wait for the rebroadcast to post here on YouTube. Post here, you'll see that too. But you can get in the live, and there's chat room and all kinds of stuff going on. Just another place where I'm talking witchcraft all the time. All right, I'm not seeing a question here. Maybe I've given you all enough to think about, enough notes to take. Sherry Young's gonna email me about that. Okay. Yes, definitely get me that info. Or do what I can. Do what I can. Good luck with that. Jujus and woo-woos. Woojies at you. No thoughts and prayers. Let's see. Sorry I keep asking questions, Denise. Well, it's called Ask Uncle Birch, so yeah, I mean, don't be sorry. I've often said and people challenge me on this, there are no stupid questions. There's stupid opinions from people that didn't ask a question. What's the best use for blood seed jewels? Blood seed jewels. Well, blood seed jewels? Shit, I might have to look that one up. I don't know. Blood seed? Is that like the oh, hey, Beyond Seps. Hey, Beyond Seps. Please send me an email at the Witch School address, witchschool@gmail.com, WITCHSKEWL. Yeah, I am backed up, and I'm still playing catch up from when my website got totally fucked up, and then Samhain, and then Christmas, and I appreciate the patience that my customers have, recognizing that I'm the one that's going to make your stuff. Only so much that I can do, especially since I am doing everything adhering to magical timing and in the order of the orders that come in. And so, yes, I'm always backed up, but if you'd email me at the which school address, I'll be better able to check on your order. People are always asking me on my Hotmail, but I'm really backed up in my Hotmail. So if you get me a message over there, which school, I'll definitely see it there because it's a new address that's not full of spam. The Hotmail, I'm one of the few people that has a Hotmail anymore. It's almost akin to having an AOL email address, but not quite that old. All right, so any other? Oh, thank you. I give good quality stuff. Well, that's the kind of thing. I don't want people, if you're buying something from me that's brewed in incense and oil, even a candle, I want to make it right. I want to make it for you. I want to make it in your name. I want to magically time the thing. I don't ever want to be an occult clearinghouse. I could set my site up to just be a drop ship website that drop ships other people's magical products, and it would be automated, and I wouldn't have to have people mad at me in emails because their orders taking so long. I wouldn't have, I'd have so much less stress catching up. But there's plenty of other people selling that crap out there. There are things that I carry from other distributors, but not incense, oils, and brews. Those are things that I make. I make them myself. I make them in very small batches, and I make it just for you. Custom-made shit. I don't know. Apparently, I need to be clear on that on my website. Some people don't get that until after they complain. But anybody out there, if you're waiting on anything I haven't got to, just get a hold of me. The which school address. I have stuff from like 6-7 months ago that I'm just finding. I have a bunch of problems that happened on my old website with lost orders. I had to transfer everything and make this whole secure. I don't want to burden you with any of this crap. There's some things that happened back when I had problems with my website. It probably pissed off somebody that hacked me. I don't know. But there's still orders lost in there, and I don't find them until somebody physically contacts me and says, hey, where's order 1701 or whatever, and then I can find it, and I find it and I fix it. And I usually, when I have a fuck up like that, I send you some free shit. I always have extra stuff lying around, so I always try and send some gifts to make up for when I fuck up. So if I'm fucking up, let me know. All right, I do one more question. If somebody wants to get in there, and then I got to go do other stuff in the mundaner world. So ask Uncle Birch, and we'll see what we can talk about here. Or don't. Well, hopefully somebody's typing a question. We're at 58 minutes. Look at that. Amazing how long I can talk with no subject matter. I just imagine if you get in there at whichschool@gmail.com and I start doing those live workshop classes, look how much shit you're going to learn. Dude, Blood Raven, hi. Yes, Blood Raven, dude. Fully, dude. I don't know if Blood Raven had a question or he's just saying dude. Well, I am in California, and there's an entire language of dude. It can be a noun, an adjective, a verb, an adverb, pronoun. I'm not sure if it would be a pronoun. Is it better to do magic or join a team from Group magics done right are usually more effective than solo magics. Figuring out how to figuring out the right group dynamics, and a group that doesn't suck, that's a lifetime of work. And most groups just don't practice the things that I think are going to keep them a cohesive group. One of the things here on my YouTube channel, the 13 Laws of Leadership, some of the things that I say in there are extremely unpleasant and people do not want to believe, but they are in fact inevitable. human experiences. So yeah. Somebody asked me about servitors. Maybe ask me that next time when I got a little bit more time. But like the other person said, Uncle Birch has many servitors. Yes, I started that a long time ago, a lot earlier than most people, and I started making servitors for many things, and I developed techniques for my servitors to derive their own fuel source. So it's not as necessary for me to call up the servitors every month or whatever and feed them. I still tend to do that, but I have servitors that are self-propelled. If you want to go to my my Gumroad spot, gumroad.com/witch school, where I'm teaching all kinds of volatile magics. Of course, witch school is WITCHSKEWL, but I teach a certain magic there, a certain course called Feeding on Your Enemies, where we learn how to take the energy of your enemies and convert it into energy to cause change in accordance with your will. In other words, using your energies, juju, to do your magic. It's a very devious technique, and nobody's ever ready for it. You can't reverse it. You can't. There's the techniques are have built-in protections to keep them from being reversed, altered, changed by your attacker. Well, I instilled these techniques in many of my servitors, allowing them a certain percentage of the enemy's energy, those servitors. And you want to go further, into Gumroad, I have a series called Spiritual Warfare, which is where the feeding on your enemies comes from. One of mine there is building an army. And that's, like the person said, Uncle Birch ended up with so many servitors. I ended up assembling branches of servitors into units, and then an army, and captains at the heads of the units, and a general in control of the army, imbuing that general servitor with the qualities of many generals throughout human history and extremely volatile mages. And that's a thing with servitors, is even if you can't do it, if you can conceive of it, you can make a servitor that can do it. Like, you can't fly. You can absolutely make a servitor that can fly. Everybody does that all the fucking time. So if you can conceive of it, you can make a servitor that can do it. And then if that servitor's there to serve you, well, in a way, by proxy, you can do it. So I eventually ended up with so many of these, I had to have an organizational structure and a commander, because armies just don't do well without generals, as our dear president's about to find out. All right, so enough of that. Thank you for joining me. I'm sorry, whoever's questions I couldn't get to, but if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And if you're around when I'm around and decide to do this again, get your questions in early. Thank you for joining me, all.